welcome back to the Grease Den. I'm Brad, and this is the Grease Den. I like to review high gain amps, shred guitars, distortion, overdrive pedals, and high output pickups. So if you're into that, you're in the right place. So yeah, let's get to it. I recently acquired a new amp. I sold my Sodano Avenger, so I'm down to technically 3 Soldanos. One of them's an Astroverb. It's in the closet and it's currently in a state of being broken. I got it for $20 as a carcass and it needs to be repaired. So once it's repaired, it will appear on the channel. The other is a Yamaha T100, which was designed by Mike Soldano in the late 80s, early 90s for Yamaha, and built in my home state of Georgia. And the other is, of course, my SLO, which is in all of my videos. So if you want to see the demo of the SLO, which is a Friedman modified, you can look at the link right here, and there you go. So I sold my Avenger, and I also sold my PV-VTM, so that's gone as well, to fund a Bogner Uber-Ultra. There it is. So yeah, I got a Bogner. This came into the local guitar center near where I live, and I just went down there with my guitar, and I plugged into it like the day after, I guess, it arrived. I was the first person to play through it, and I immediately like knew that it was something I had to have. It was like, you know, very tight and percussive. I've had the amp for about a week, and my overall opinion of it is highly positive. I've really been looking forward to playing through the amp every day when I get off of work, and I find that it inspires me to play a different kind of riff. It really brings something to my collection that I didn't have already. So I think that it was a good trade to let go of an amp that I pretty much already had multiple examples of. Very similar circuit, similar sounding circuit. I have another video, which is here, that you can listen to the comparison of the 3 different Soldano circuits that I have or had. So this gives me a little bit more versatility, a usable clean channel, 2 high gain distortion channels, 2 crunch channels. So there's a lot of versatility in these Bogners. The build quality is very high. There's really nothing to complain about as far as the way it's put together. There's no seam lines for the Tolex. It's nice and heavy. The output transformer is a lot larger than the power transformer is a lot larger than the output transformer, which is fine. It doesn't, you know, it really just, all I care about is how it sounds. But the fact that it has some iron in it makes me feel like, you know, they invested in some good quality components. So I'm just going to walk you through the amp now, take a look at the different controls, and just give you a kind of an overview of what each of the controls does. It has a pretty standard power amp control setup, and I say standard, but it's really, you know, like a deluxe version of the standard by today's standards, if you okay. So you got 2 master volumes, which are foot switchable with the foot switch just here. All right. Presence, depth, those are pretty normal. Density is a negative feedback control. Yeah, the hair switch is pretty unique. I suspect that it works on the presence circuit. In Uber mode, it's pretty much the stock tone. Hair Plus is like the most scooped fizzy tone that you could get. Maybe like a rectifier, some version of the rectifier, or even like a Diezel Herbert or a D-Mol. The hair mode is quite usable. Sort of scoops the mids slightly, but also adds a little bit of a counter boost in the maybe low mids. I haven't really pinned that down, but it definitely adds something and then takes something away. It seems like they do affect the way that the presence control works, but we'll take a look at that a little later in the video. If you move over here to channel 1, it's kind of hard to see because of that. See, you have a volume, treble, middle, bass, and gain. The Uber is the high gain voicing, and it's probably no coincidence they put that one as the furthest to the left. I mean, if you're reading left to right, then that would be like the place to start, I guess. But if you're working from the middle, then clean is sort of what this channel is for. All three modes sound very good. Clean and crunch have a considerable volume boost, so that has to be compensated for with the channel volume. I will say this amp is extremely loud. If you look right here, everything's at about 11 o'clock, and it's about the same on the other channel, and that's as loud as the slow on maybe 5 or 6 or 12 or 1 o'clock. Same thing with the Diezel or even my Marshall. So this is like a little bit louder than my other amps. I don't know if it has more output or more wattage or what. But yeah, back to this control. The clean is a very edge of breakup. You can get some like really nasty crunch tones on that. It's really more of a Marshall type of a clean, but it is usable. It's very clear. With single coils, it'd probably be ideal. The crunch mode is very good crunch tone. Very good Marshall classic JCM 800 breakup. There's a bright switch, does what you think it does. It's in a good frequency. It works well. My bass is dimed. I think that's mostly because I'm running through the power station, and everything just kind of sounds a little better with some extra bass when it's being attenuated. Come over here. We have the channel 2. This is pretty much what we're all here for, okay? Get your volume, standard EQ stack, the Metamorph control, which has been highly documented, and I'm going to be documenting it some more here in this video, and a gain knob. There are three-way switches. The first switches the mode of the channel from Ultra to Crunch to Uber. Ultra is very genty. It has a very clanky kind of a sound, but by using the Metamorph control and the EQ and the focus control, you can really make that into a usable super high gain tone. That's the highest gain tone on the amp, is the the Ultra on channel 2. The crunch mode is inferior to the crunch on channel 1. I don't find myself using that very much. The Uber mode is a souped up version of the Uber on channel 1. Sounds like maybe an extra gain stage. It's very resonant, responsive. This amp has a certain compression and a bounciness to it. There's a certain quality to the notes, a lot of articulation and definition in the tone, but it also sounds crushing, just extremely clear and brutal and heavy. This is a metal amp through and through. The Metamorph control is very unique. It works better at higher volumes. You start to hear it coming in more once you get that volume up to about 9, 10 o'clock, you know, just kind of getting it turned up a bit. I noticed that with the tight knob or the tight mode of the Metamorph control, sounds a bit more usable to me as you turn the knob up. And I'm not sure if it's tight or fat, but one of these modes, if you turn it all the way down, you actually don't get signal to pass through. So those positions on that switch are doing drastically different things within the circuit, depending on where you're in tight or fat. In fat mode, I do like to use fat mode to fatten up the lower frequencies of the tone. This amp can get extremely tight to the point where it lacks sort of that low end resonance. And as a result, using the fat control on the Metamorph seems to compensate for that somewhat. But also the tight mode seems to add low frequencies as well. So if I were to turn that Metamorph control down with the tight engaged, I'd get a more clanky rhythmic tone. But as I turn it up, it just sort of fills out, but maintains a sort of articulation and definition that is very unique to this amp. Okay, so the focus control is another option for shaping of the EQ within this channel. I'm not sure if it's post EQ. I suspect it might be, or it might be tied on to the gain structure somehow. But the bright I don't really like too much. It seems as if it adds a lot of unnecessary high frequencies. And you can get enough high end out of this thing just with the treble knob. This is an amp where you can really crank those EQ controls and it never sounds harsh. You can just turn them up all the way and get all of that frequency out of it, and like it's still usable, you know? So I'm really not afraid to do dramatic like cuts or boosts with this EQ. But it sounds good with everything just at, you know, 666. The focus position in the middle of that switch is probably the most neutral tone structuring of that, and it's good. It's just kind of like the natural voice of this channel. The Uber, I would say the Uber channel on channel 2 is, or Uber mode on channel 2 is probably where I have been spending most of my time. So for the demo tonight, this is my setup. I've changed my pedal board slightly. Coming into a TU3, going through a Ditto looper, going into this American Loopers 2-channel effects loop mixer. I have a drive channel and a clean channel. In the drive channel, my signal passes through the Deadwell duality into a Michael Klein Audio Dybbuk, into a 40th anniversary Boss Super Distortion, which I just got. I like that a lot. And then into a KHDK Ghoul Screamer Mini. And then it goes into a ISP Decimator noise gate, comes back into the loop. The clean channel here, I've got the Moore pitch box. This is a detune pedal, has sort of a detune effect like what you hear on some Van Halen records. And then I have an SP compressor. Returns to here, goes into a bona fide buffer, and then it goes out into my in-audio 8x7 switcher. All right. I haven't changed all the labels yet, but still have all the same cabs, and I have the power station here. I did a back-to-back test, bypassing and putting the attenuator in to the loop here, in and out, and I found this to be the most neutral flat settings to keep the tone as consistent as possible. I'll do some demos without the power station, but for right now I'm gonna leave that on. I'm going into a Focusrite Scarlet. I've got two SM57s on this Sodano cab. On the top there's an H75 Creamback Celestian. On the bottom is a 90s V30 Celestian speaker. All right, guys, I've got my 1984 BC Rich U-Series Ironbird here. Just gonna play some riffs. I might mess around with some knobs a little bit. So yeah, I'll start out with the Michael Klein Audio Dybbuk Overdrive on. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a built-in boost. There's no adjustments for the inbuilt boost. But it's very neutral, and does add, like, I think another tube gain stage or something like that. So I'll be throwing that in here and there, and I'll let you know when I do that. Honestly, I like it on pretty much all the time. It kind of just evens out the tone, like adds more saturation. In a band setting, I would probably not have the boost on, but for this purpose, like, I mean, I really like to use it. Same thing with the boost that I have on my guitar here, the preamp. I like to throw it on every now and again. I mean, it just kind of fills out the tone a little bit, so I'll try to let you know when I do that. But yeah, let's just get to it. I'll try to take some of the mids out. This amp has a lot of mids, but just a lot of mids. Very good sounding mids, very bouncy. I think it would jump right out of a band mix. Anyways, so yeah, we're back on Uber. And let's play around with the built-in boost for a second here. I'm going to turn off my boost and turn on the boost in the amp. We're going to listen to it without the boost to begin with. This is Uber mode, no boost. I'll stack the boost on top of that, the Dybbuk. The mids are just like kind of encroaching on the high end. Try the Super Distortion, or the SD1. This is with the SD1. Play around with this focus knob a little bit. This is the doom setting. Surprisingly stays tight with the onboard boost engaged. We can try out the Metamorph a little more. So I've got the knob here. Let's try it back over here. See the difference. In fact, let me, I'll do a little loop and I'll demonstrate the knob for you. So yeah, as you can hear, it's got a lot of fine-tuning ability with its distortion. There's a lot of ways to sort of achieve the same result by just using different controls and different combinations. Personally, I like a lot of low mids and I like a very round sound, so I tend to gravitate towards more like higher gain settings with more bass and, you know, but also with enough of like a low cut to allow for like palm mutes and stuff to come across, and combining with the boost, the density, the focus, and the Metamorph controls, you can get to there in a variety of different ways. right, sick. So we'll compare that to channel 2, and you'll hear the difference. Try to dial in a little more, a little less bass. Two distinct voices to each channel. Let's compare the high gain channels together. So here's the Uber modes. Uber mode. You really need like a noise gate with this amp, man. Yeah, all right. So. The boost. We're gonna do some stuff on the clean channel now. It's very chimey, very chimey. my clean effects. So yeah, just to demonstrate, I mean, you can get so much gain that you can basically use this as a gain channel. Alright, so to finish off the video, I'm going to compare the Uber-Ultra with the SLO, the Diezel Einstein, the Yamaha T100, and the Marshall JMP. I have my BC Rich bitch. It has bare knuckle aftermath pickups. It's tuned to C standard. right, thanks everybody for checking out this video and supporting my channel. Want to give a special shout out to the homie down in Georgia, Death Metal Devin. My friend from going way back, we used to play in a band together. You should check out his channel here and his new video, which is also about the Uber-Ultra. Just so happens that we both kind of like got into this amp around the same time. So definitely go support his channel and like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time. Stay metal. Woo!